How's it going? My name is Josh. I'm a life coach, and we're going to talk about love bombing and really what is the significance of love bombing. Pretty much, love bombing is when someone comes on super strong and everything feels a little off or a little fake. Things are progressing really quickly or they're controlling in a little bit of way, but not just enough to be a red flag, but just enough for you're like, something's up. So let's talk about that. So typically there's some red flags that come around when love bombing starts to really be prevalent. We'll go through over three of those things. One is gifts. You start to receive gifts from this person. At first you're like, oh, this is kind of nice. You know, they got me my favorite this or that. But then, for example, for one of my clients, they got themselves a heart locket with a picture of themselves. Normally not a bad gift, but in this context, it's just a little off. They've only been dating for 2 weeks. He gave a key to his heart. These are love bombing moves, and you just kind of have to watch out how much you give those gifts or receive those gifts because they're going to expect something from those gifts. But this is really just a ploy to start to pull you in, to start to get you onto their side. And we'll go over the next couple. After they get out of the gift stage or they start giving you gifts, the next thing they're going to start to implement is called time. So what I like to call time is they're going to start monopolizing your time. They're going to start, you don't have to go to that friend's house. We were supposed to do this, remember? Hey, what are you doing tomorrow? What are you doing the day after? Like, they're just going to start to obsess with your time and what you're doing with it. A good way to test this love boundary or love bombing is just stop them for a second. Be like, hey, I did have plans with another friend, even if you don't, and just see how they react. If they get mad, if they get distant, if they quick response, you may want to start checking them a little bit more. But time, they're going to start obsessing about your time and what you're doing with that time. That is a red flag in love bombing, so look out for that. And the third thing they do in love bombing, which I think is the most important, is they just make you their world. At first, you're going to love it. You're going to love the support and everything they're doing. They're going to pick you up. They're going to be there constantly, no matter what. And that's good in a relationship, but too much of it can be a bad thing in a relationship. So what they're going to do is this is just a ploy to get you into a certain point where you're emotionally attached to them and all your gratification in life comes from them. And that's the real nail in the coffin at that point. Once they got you there, then they'll start to slow back that support and then they're going to push forward what they want you to do. And then it's going to be all about them. It's going to happen within a 3-month time frame, typically love bombing is, but then they're going to do a switch. And then from that point on, it's going to be like, you will do what I want you to do. You will hang out with who I want you to hang out with. And then the relationship just takes a turn for the worse. But realizing that that's what they're doing is just trying to get you to emotionally depend on them is a red flag. And that's a big, big no-no in relationships. So in all these love bombings that we talked about, how do we counteract it? How do we see it for what it is? It's actually not that hard. It actually comes from a great place that I love to talk about all the time anyway, healthy boundaries. When you have self-love in yourself, setting a boundary for yourself is not hard. But they kind of play on the weak a little bit when they're like someone that doesn't have high self-esteem. It's easy for them to manipulate you. So set a boundary. That's what perfectly happens. You feel like you're being love bombed. You feel like they're coming on strong, maybe even coming on a little fake. Set a little boundary. Just say, hey, I can't hang out tonight. I have this plans. Or, hey, this gift was very thoughtful. Can you cut back on the gifts a little bit? I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. Express your feelings in a healthy boundary way. As soon as you do that, they're not going to like it. They're going to be like, well, why are you acting different? Is there something that I did wrong? Please tell me. And once they react that way, you'll be able to feel in your gut that this is a love bombing thing and they really are not there for the right intentions. And it's okay for you to set these boundaries. Even take maybe a couple of days off. Be like, hey, I've been busy with work. I'm not going to be able to see you for a couple of days. Use this time to set these boundaries so they realize that you do have self-love and this is just not going to work. And then what you'll find out is slowly, since they can't manipulate you, they're going to leave you alone and move on. They're going to push at first. Let's be real. They are going to come at you sideways. But once you reiterate your boundaries and they say, this is what I need right now for me, they're not going to be able, they're going to realize they can't manipulate you and they're just going to move on to the next one. So how do we counteract love bombing? Healthy, loving boundaries. Once you do that, you'll be good to go. And if they do respect those boundaries, then hey, maybe give them a little bit more time. Maybe they really are just super interested in you and they'll respect that boundary. And that's great for relationships starting off anyway. So boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. So just keep that going. All right. All right. Have a good